Welcome back to FlowState. On this new adventure we embark on, the new week, new curriculum, new framework, new opportunity for growth. This week it's all about optimization and refinement, the absolute cherry on top of personal development that is so much overlooked by so many, but not here, not with me, Eric Fate, on Everyday Action. Obviously, I have to address the elephant in the room. This fucking dead animal on my face. Fucking mustache. All right, so first and foremost, the greatness that is my daughter has been obsessed with the artist Benson Boone. And I have to say, there's a lot to be impressed with. I first discovered this guy, I don't know, a couple years ago or last year, whatever. He was on some award show and it was this clip that I saw on social media, and he started off in his chair in the dining room setup of the theater that they were in, and then he started singing, and then he fucking ripped off his clothes, and he's a extremely attractive gentleman, very lean, very muscular, but you know, just rocking it on like all fucking... Anyways, he has a mustache, but his face supports the mustache, you know? I've never had a mustache. I've had a beard. But anyways, and so what's interesting is, so Shanti's been like, you have to have a mustache, you have to have a mustache. And I'm like, I'm not fucking having a mustache. And then obviously I lost that battle. So there's a lot that's been processing as a result of this. And it's interesting because it shifts awareness onto something that is new and different for the individual, like myself. And so there's a certain level of insecurity that is, I guess, permeating in my mind about, you know, showing up externally facing the world with something on my face that I can't see, that I know is there, but I'm not also cognizant of the fact that I have this thing on my face. Only when I walk by a mirror and I can glimpse, and I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? And then I'm reminded of it. I'm like, oh yeah. And so it's been quite an experiment of sorts, showing up to places, meeting people who know me very well and have never, or could probably never imagine me with a mustache, and then the reaction of it. And obviously it's a choice. No one's forcing me to do it. I mean, I did it to please my daughter and just, you know, get a kick out of it. But then I was sitting with it and thinking about the process of changing one's appearance based on a want from someone who the individual is connected to in a very deep and profound way. I mean, we're talking father-daughter relationship here. And there's a lot I will do to please my daughter and my son and my wife. And there's a lot that I won't do, you know? But something like this, which is temporary, all it requires is pulling out a fucking razor and it's gone. Every morning I'm like, you know, I think today's the last day, because every time I look at myself in the mirror, it's just like a big fucking joke. But it's that thought that happens in the process of just thinking about something that is so different, and yet sitting with it and internalizing the discomfort, but it's not really discomfort. It's more of like almost embarrassment it's like wearing a ridiculously goofy outfit out in public and knowing full well that people are going to be caught off guard by it. I'm reminded of a video that Mark Manson shot on the Venice boardwalk where he was walking around with a chicken suit recording a video, and he was holding the chicken suit head in his hand. And the video was really an important one, and it's a very valuable lesson, is essentially get comfortable with being uncomfortable and get comfortable with putting yourself in situations that challenge you, right? Because we're all about growth here, and there is no growth in comfort, right? We've established this. Basically every FlowState podcast episode that drops touches on that subject, because that is something that is so wildly important, and yet people tend to lose the gravitas of it all, right? If you're comfortable, you're not growing. And life is coupled with the process of growth in terms of fulfillment and joy and purpose and all of that. And so the people who are happiest in life are those who focus on growth perpetually as an identity, right? It's not something that you do during one period of your life and then stop. That is really a recipe for burnout, induced disease, stress, lack of awareness with taking care of your body and your mind, and it just slowly erodes the fabric of your identity and your existence. Because when you're focused on growth, you're consistently driving towards discomfort. You're consistently pushing yourself to be able to get stronger, to develop mastery of what it is you're focused on. That could be, that is the full spectrum of life right there. Whether you're focused on something very narrow or taking a macro view of things, a broader stance on where you're looking to go in life, who you're looking to become, and just the process of focusing your attention and an effort on a transformation, what is required is willingly putting yourself in a position of challenge, in a position of hardship, in a position of breaking down the fabric that built the life that you had, effectively killing off a part of you, and growing into or becoming the individual that you are striving for. And there really aren't plateaus in life. I know that I have spoken about this at different times on this podcast, where you'll feel like you have been growing and growing and growing, and eventually you kind of get to this place of clarity and understanding on one topic or one area of your life that you've been actively working on. And I've changed my position on this. And I think with greater clarity now on this work, my position is that you're either growing or you're dying. And it's a pretty aggressive stance, because it removes ambiguity. It removes complacency. It removes mediocre action. And so with that in mind, I've reframed the way I see the cycle of perpetual growth. And for me, the position that I've taken and have chosen for my lifestyle, for the way I am supporting and showing up for my children and my wife, and certainly my clients, because they're choosing that aspect of me, whereas a parent raising a child really needs to be more sensitive to the different seasons of life that come with growth from a baby, a newborn, to 7 years old, and then from 7 until 12, 13, it's like every year has a different season, a different opportunity, and with that comes different challenges. But the progress that one is driving is predicated on this idea of perpetual growth. Certainly when you're young, because you don't really have a choice. Time is moving forward, whether you want it to or not. You're living in a fantasy play world for, many years, being molded by your circumstance, your situation, the economics of your upbringing, all of these things, right? Then society, also religious backgrounds or lack of religious background, and the focus on movement is so ingrained into the process of raising children. And you have a greater awareness as an adult and parent, because you know the reality that comes with the child being born, the super sensitive months of, the first 6 months of the baby showing up is just so unbelievably empowering and brutal and debilitating. As an adult, your hormones are all over the fucking place, and the kid is just trying to stay alive, really, and nothing is really happening internally other than the process of coming into consciousness and dealing with all of the transformation that is happening within them in terms of the biology. And then eventually things start to settle, and they're crawling, then they're walking, then they're talking. And with that comes this affirmation of progress, of this perpetual growth that as a parent you're engaged with and responsible for in shaping. But then the identity of the baby is slowly developing into a greater consciousness and awareness. And so I find this topic to be quite stimulating and interesting, because it's one that really can I don't want to say motivate, but bring greater meaning and clarity to what ends up happening later in life as an adult, where the awareness of this perpetual growth machine that is life kind of slips away a little bit, right? And it happens at various stages, and it happens at varying intensities as well. And we tend to focus as adults on the extrinsic factors that make up the fabric of our daily routine, our daily lifestyle, our situation, our challenges, and so forth. And to be conscious of the intention behind growth as opposed to unconscious and simply reacting to our circumstance, right? It's the, oh shit, super wet. This is such a sketchy part here. It really is a very powerful frame to ensure consistency and continuity in, because when you get older and, you know, again, you focus more extrinsically on sustainability and money and, you know, social relationships and things like that, a lot of people tend to slip in that focus that once bound them to a purpose, not even being aware that this idea of growth is in fact a purpose and a drive towards becoming what? Becoming, and it's a big fucking question mark if you're not conscious of it. But if you are conscious of it, then it's by design. It's intentional. You are becoming X. Very defined, clearly defined. The growth blueprint really drives that progress forward because of the framework, because of the intentionality behind the work that is required for every participant to be more aware of, one, who they are. Who are you? Who are you? Are you in a position now to answer that question succinctly without having to think about it? Do you know what the guiding factors and principles are to your life? And is your answer today the same as your answer tomorrow? Are you in a position to articulate the meaning behind your life and therefore the subsequent actions and thought process, which ultimately shapes the identity in which you are actively creating and living into for yourself? This is at the forefront of the work that I'm heavily invested in, and the framework that supports this is the growth blueprint. It's a tedious process that, you know, and I kind of had this look on my face because I felt it, in that it's challenging and it's demonstrative. Oh, fuck. My hamstring's fucked. Oh, really tight right now. Whew. Going up is going to be a experiment. The growth blueprint is about awareness, clarity, structure, momentum, providing a framework to create clarity, structure, and momentum in your life, and coupling that with aligned action so that you have direction, meaning, and purpose, bringing you back to center, and you know what you want, you know what you're working towards, you can define it, you can articulate it. It's the thing that you practice in development of who it is that you're becoming. Everyone on earth is becoming someone. There's no escaping that reality. You are not going back in time. I mean, let me be clear, if you have that ability, awesome. please send me a message, get in contact with me. Definitely want to talk. And it's interesting because not that I would want to change anything, because that's cheating the game of life. That's cheating the ups and downs of the struggle that make you stronger, make you more resilient, make you more powerful, make you more growth oriented. Because if things were easy, if things were always just so easy, oh my God, how boring would that be? And it sounds nice, like, oh man, I've been struggling for all this time, and this motherfucker's talking about what if everything were just so easy? You know, I think if that switch were to be flipped for you, you'd be wishing to go back to struggle. You'd be wishing to go back to challenge. So many people who have suffered and struggled, that have made it financially, have all basically said the same thing. The best times in their life were the ones where they were in their car, sleeping in their car, doing whatever they were doing. You know, it's like, there's a well-known comic, Tony Hinchcliffe, who spoke of this recently. He has a great podcast, by the way, and he's a great comedic writer. It's called Kill Tony. I'm sure you're familiar. It's quite popular. If you're not, I highly recommend it. And he was saying, you know, I have my fucking gorgeous condo overlooking Austin. I have it all set up exactly the way I want it. Everything is fucking perfect. And, you know, I mean, he's got the cash, so I'm sure it's gorgeous. And that's awesome. And he's like, yeah, that's great. I love it. But you know, the times that I miss the most, and when I think about my life, I always go back to the time where I was sleeping in my car, working at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, and having to move my car from one parking lot to the other so I could sleep in there, and all of these crazy stories, right? But without that struggle, there is no modern day Tony Hinchcliffe. There is no capacity to leverage all of that growth, all of that potential material for reflective practices, for making people laugh and entertaining them. I mean, that is his purpose, is to entertain people. His role is to bring joy to the world. Now, you may not enjoy his particular flavor of comedy, but there's no denying his genius. But it's very rare that people have a certain genius level capacity and they don't struggle with it internally to be able to create something out of that struggle. This is such a valuable lesson. Even the people who have the greatest gift in terms of their IQ and intellect and all of these things, it very rarely comes unattached to the dark side of it, or the shadow, right? There's duality with everything. We have both strengths and weaknesses. We have attributes that drive performance, and then we have things that debilitate us. And a lot of the work that I've been focusing on recently has been about bringing that duality into the foreground and leveraging it as an asset, not trying to squash it into something, or in other words, to suppress it. I'm looking to amplify that duality. I'm looking to bring out awareness from my working with my clients and myself, and just thinking about expressing more of the dark into the light. There is such an interesting frame in society that I think negatively forces people into the light and not leveraging what the dark or the shadow can offer. And it's important to lean into both, right? It's in many ways about balancing duality and about leveraging the awareness that comes out of our ability to be more attuned to that duality. So it's not uncommon that people with exceptionally high IQs are often coupled with other, let's say, diagnosable situations like, Asperger's or autism and things like that. So you have, a lot of savants have this duality, and it's really right there, up right in fucking your face, and you pretty much know it. I would be remiss if I didn't mention his name, because I think he's a prominent figure in our landscape today, and that's Elon Musk. So he's repeatedly said numerous times that you wouldn't want to live inside his head. And if you just take a moment and look at him and hear him and observe, I concur with that recommendation. I don't think I would want to live inside his head. And so many people are focused on just the consequence of his actions, which is all of this money, but it's such a superficial thing to focus on, because it's not anything that you can take with you. Certainly it's going to make your life easier in the present, but not always. And, legitimately more money, more problems. There's clearly a balance there, right? The duality of it, I think, is relevant in this conversation. More money, more problems. Right? Life gets easier, but it also gets more complicated. So I think working on a greater awareness of the dark and the light is a very powerful tool to, again, drive clarity in your life, to get a deeper sense of awareness for what the fuck it is you're supposed to be doing. And it really, I think, solidifies in the core values work. And so I'm really on this topic right now. So I had a client meeting yesterday, and the meeting was exclusively focused on core values. It's a multi-session process. And it's probably the one I give the most, no pun intended, value to, or the most weight, because it is the guiding principle for which everything else comes. Your values have a hierarchy. Your values are the filter for which you choose your life consciously, not as a reaction to circumstance. The power in that is like, you know what? It's like that movie Limitless. It's a little far-fetched in terms of an analogy, but I think it still holds true, right? Limitless, you take the drug and it makes you, superhuman, basically, right? Being in alignment with your values is that. You're not constantly having to battle for choice. You're not constantly having to put yourself in a position that is going to erode the fabric of your identity and what you have chosen as your path in life. It needs to be a conscious choice. It needs to be something that you have prepared both your body and mind to be able to handle sufficient demand that is required of you to actually get clarity on those values. There's a process for which you can choose selectively your values, your mission, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but you are your purpose. You are your purpose intrinsically. Period. There is no greater power in awareness that you are your purpose in life. That is the highest place of existence, is understanding that. And with that comes absolute power and control over how you are going to be in service, how you are going to be perpetually focused on growth, solidifying your place in the cosmos and on Earth. Now, you, in that process, will discover for yourself what that is, what holds true, what you're willing to kill off, because values aren't needs. Values are chosen higher, what's that word? Hierarchical? There's a hierarchy. Can't speak. There's a hierarchy to values. Hierarchical? Fuck. I don't think that's a word. Maybe it's a word. I'll have to look that up later. So, we got off on a massive tangent. Welcome to FlowState. This is not the core values module. This is not the core values week. This is all about optimization and refinement. So let me bring it back to center here. It's just been on the top of my mind, and you know, if you're new to this channel, this is how this works. I press go, and I have my weekly topic, which I hopefully get time to talk about, because that's the purpose of this week, is optimization and refinement. All my content is centered around optimization and refinement. And I want to say thank you so much to everybody that dropped in yesterday on Thursday for Thursday Live, where every week we get together in our private community. You can use the link in the description to join. It's every Thursday. And so Friday today is the beginning of a new week. And that week ends on Thursday for Thursday Live. So the Thursday Live is all about optimization and refinement. Let me just articulate to you what the growth blueprint is, what the framework is, so that you have a deeper awareness of the work and the practice, and then how you can take action if you feel called to participate in this work. There's only upside. There's no negative outcome to doing this work. So it's an 8-step framework called the Growth Blueprint Framework. Step 1, awareness. Getting just clarity on where you are currently, today. Not about going deep into your past, not about going into the future. It's about, hey, where am I today? We talk about your inner ecosystem, which is an interconnected web of, I'm going to say, compartments that make up your current reality. family health, work, social relationships, etc. And just taking stock and getting clarity on where you are currently. This is massively important because it's essentially ground zero for all of your personal development. You have to start somewhere, and you need clarity on where that somewhere is. After that, we focus on vitality. Vitality is the capacity to confront challenge with great intensity so that you can become stronger. Vitality is the practice of regulating state. Vitality is the awareness to invest in your capacity to create energy, to regulate your blood sugar, to manage rest and recovery, nutrition. Vitality is a lifestyle choice that, sorry, I'm just getting lost here. Vitality is a lifestyle choice that either will propel your growth or cap it. Vitality is non-optional. You either are moving your body and working towards growth, or you're not moving your body and are working towards death. It's not about vanity metrics. It's not about aspirational body types. It's about capacity management. It's about waking up every fucking day with a indescribable drive, with a capacity to challenge the world in front of you so that you can grow. Vitality, vitality, vitality. It is the underground foundational pillar. It is it's below the foundation, okay? Sub-foundation work. Move your body, prioritize recovery, nutrition, supplementation are all vital to getting your power plant charged up, your bones, your body, your mind sharp, to be able to handle what is required of you. After vitality, we shift gears into the foundation, which is core values. Now, you heard me discuss this and the importance of core values, and I hope that we're on the same page with the importance of what the core values provides to you as an individual and the power that that has for you. After core values, we branch out into mindset. Restructuring your mind in a way that is latching on to this concept of perpetual growth. The ultimate in terms of how one can define a higher state of awareness and mindset is the pursuit of becoming anti-fragile. That no matter what happens extrinsically, we are regulated intrinsically. We are grounded. We have our emotions locked in. We do not take things personally. There are so many things that we have zero control over. And there are things that you think that you want to believe that you can control, but there ain't no fucking way, my friend. And it's a lot of releasing this attachment to this belief structure that we have the power to control. Now, I will say this, you have absolute and total power over the control you have over yourself. And that's the focus. We look inwards. You don't have control over what people do, say, think, act, behave. And the more you try to control, the more resistant that individual becomes. And understand this when disciplining a child. Understand that there's a right way and a way that's going to get you into trouble in the present moment and later in life. I'm not here to tell you how to parent. I'm just providing awareness and clarity on the reality of how certain parenting styles will come back to bite you in the ass and others won't. After mindset, we shift gears into time management and prioritization. Learning how to properly and effectively manage the time that you have so you can accomplish more with less, and by design, structure how you want to live your life as it relates to time. Not everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, but we definitely do not have the same 24 hours in the day. If that makes sense, I'll use this analogy in the form of a question, which is, do you think you have the same 24 hours as, let's say, Beyonce, just pulling some name out of the hat? Or if you want to go real extreme, Elon Musk. Or bring it down even to your local business person who is affluent. It's like the reality of time and resources really has a lot of what's the word? There's a lot of let's say structural things that happen because of your financial situation. Now, there's no escaping that, but there is the capacity to create time simply by understanding how to properly manage it. And part of that is educating yourself on different concepts. One concept which I think is really important and worth stating with this is simply that work expands to fill the time that you allow it allotted to it, right? Work expands to fill the time that you allocated to that work within reason. So in other words, let's say you have a project and you're like, I want to spend 3 hours doing this, but then something happens and you're like, oh fuck, I only have 2 hours. The likelihood of you actually getting everything that you needed to get done in that 3-hour time period, but in a reduced construct of time, is so much greater than it not happening. And again, when you become aware of this, you can use it to your advantage. Time is a leverageable asset. It's an amazing tool when you have a mindset and an understanding and education in how to actually, well, first understanding what it is and then how to properly leverage it. and you couple that with the vitality and the energy that you have, aligning all of this with your core values, and your prioritization system radically shifts. After time management, we have the capacity, the tools, the awareness, the structure to start aligning goals to our path of growth, where we're looking to go, what we're looking to accomplish, the things that are going to drive greater meaning and abundance in our life through these milestones. Again, leveraging the time management insights, the energy, the core values, everything is in alignment. Aligned living is just a dream. It takes work to get there, but once you have it, then you own it. You are unstoppable. There is a power that exists within you that isn't something that anybody can take away. After aligned goals, we have optimization and refinement. That's where we are right now in this week. And it's really the missing link that so many people overlook within systems, within management of self. And that is the understanding of how to improve incrementally the things that are driving value for us. And with that, the understanding that there are things that you're going to want to kill off for the integrity of the system to work. Constantly analyzing and refining and growing from that awareness. So part of that is actively engaging in a reflective practice that creates more clarity and awareness for you. So you know which lever to pull and when. And then that process really compounds on itself, because the more you do it, the more attuned you become at optimization. Again, driving awareness, driving clarity, driving progress. It's the practice of journaling. It's the practice of leveraging your calendar as a living document. It's the practice of accurately reflecting time retroactively so that you can go back in time and actually analyze where you invested your time and the outcome of that investment, the consequences. Is it in alignment with where you want to be? If it's not, you know how to take action. If it is, you know where to double down. And then after optimization and refinement, we get to commencement or integration in the coursework itself. And what this means is the full and total complete integration in identity form, to be able to synergize all of the modalities that exist within the framework, and to honor yourself by trusting in the process that you just went through, reinforcing that trust because of the positive outcomes that have been created by you in your life. This is so fucking awesome, man. This is fucking next level shit. Ha! I love it. And then ultimately what happens after integration is you leverage back the framework to refine and go deeper where there are opportunities for greater growth. This, to me, is the magic recipe for enlightenment, awareness, intentionality versus reactivity, presence, steady state regulation, So much power lies in the granular details. And optimization and refinement is really the magic unlock to all of this. It's like in business. You do the due diligence to drive a hypothesis in a system, in a framework. Then you execute. If something's not working, you don't fucking scrap the whole thing and start over again. That's retarded. It makes no fucking sense. You've already put in the work. You've gotten clarity on so many steps. You were just lacking data. You were lacking the capacity to reinvest in clarity, in awareness for what is working and what is not working. And you systematically refine in micro adjustments until more data can catch up with the new hypothesis. It's the same thing in personal development. It's the same thing. Trusting the framework, a proven framework that will get you from point A to point B. Optimization and refinement is the secret sauce, that master unlock code. And when you get in practice, when you become someone who refines and optimizes, and it's not, I also have to say, there is a lot of hype culture around optimization and refinement, but you know, I just want to draw a line in the sand about the hype version of it and one that's really going to drive more meaning and results in your life, right? It's like attach all of this to the outcomes that you're working towards. It's not about just doing a bunch of work without any clarity on why you're doing the work. But it's not about overloading with project management tools. It's like this fucking dude has a Monday account, a ClickUp account, and a Asana account. You know, you don't need 9 million tools doing the same thing. You need clarity on the system and structure that you're creating, and then using one tool which you've determined to be an effective mechanism for extracting growth opportunities. Whoa. I have a feeling this next little section here is going to be quite wet. I had an amazing time here with you today. I felt really connected to my internal monologue. I felt presence in my consistency of thought. And it's something that I think doesn't happen every time. I strive for it. I really want to create what This is fucking cool. What an amazing house this is here. You can kind of see the top of the volcano over there. And so I just want to say thank you for bringing the best out of me today. And I appreciate your presence. If you've derived value from this podcast, please consider liking, subscribing, dropping a comment. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I try to answer all comments in one form or another, whether it's on camera or whether it's in the comment section. Well, I always answer in the comment section, but if there's a really thought-provoking comment or a situation, I bring it into the conversation using real-world examples. And ultimately, it's all about you. It's all about you and the capacity you have within to grow, to tap in to that awareness, that abundance of character, that ambition that you know is there. That's why you're here. Something called you to this moment, this conversation that you're having now within yourself. And you know what the right action is to take. It's to double down on that feeling you have of, I know I am capable of more. And if you're feeling that right now, take action. Take action by joining us on Thursday, signing up. There's a bunch of links in the show notes that you can leverage right now, not in an hour. Just click the link. Take immediate action. Reinforce that feeling, that awareness that you have within yourself now, in this moment. Do it now. Do it now. Start now. Keep this as your mantra. Do it now. Do it now. Take the fucking trash out now. Do the dishes now. Hug your wife now. Hug your kids now. Make that phone call now. Take action now. It's not about fucking 5 minutes from now. It's about right fucking now. That is the first defining moment in your capacity to work towards perpetual growth. Do it now. If you want to lose weight, do it now. You want to get stronger, do it now. Don't wait. If you wait, it dies. Do it now. Take action now. Live the life that you know you're meant to be living now. Thank you so much for dropping in. I hope to see everyone on Thursday or inside the Everyday Action community. The links are in the show notes. Eric Fate signing off. Until next week on Friday for another FlowState. And join us on Thursday for Everyday Action Live. Peace.